Hey guys, I wanted to take some time today to show you some other of my pets I got going on here, and I have in here, which I haven't shown off before, two rescued baby turtles. A red-eared slider, who is a male, and a yellow-eared slider, who's a female. And I guess you could include in the rescue, which is in here, Pleco algae eater. So I want to show these off to you. I want to tell you what was going on, show you kind of what was going on, and then kind of debunk the myths of, once again, seen videos of turtles are not good pets, or turtles are not friendly, or just bad, and there's just so much misinformation. It's really pathetic, in my opinion. So first I'll show them all. I'll tell you what was going wrong, why they got surrendered, and I'll tell you what I switched them to and everything that's going on. And I kind of want to go on this first because I've changed things of their normal setup for the video. I've shut off their basking light. I've just turned on a normal light. That way everything's not under a big green hue from the UV coming down. But kind lady, she had these two turtles plus that giant algae eater in a 10-gallon tank, which is much too small, with a lot of gravel, which was extremely dirty gravel, and no UV light. Did have the basking spot, was providing heat, although I don't think she was monitoring the temperature on the heat, because she said the turtle has never really basked. And that's either the basking spot was too hot or not hot enough. And there was the no UV part of it, which was another problem. But she was just overwhelmed. She had one of those, what I'll tell you I think are crap, but those, like, they call them turtle filters, which are low water filters where you only need to sink it in. In fact, I have it because she gave me all of her equipment, where you sink in the bottom and it pulls through, and it just goes through this like really crappy charcoal, if there is even any charcoal in there, cloth filter, and then dips out the top like a waterfall effect. Okay. She was treating the water, so that's good. Getting all the heavy metals and the chlorine out, that's fine. But the filter was too small, the turtles were too big, and she liked to give them a lot of treats. Understandable, because turtles are really smart. You can actually train them very well with treats, which I'm in the process of doing. But we can go over those scenarios. So the tank was way too small. The water was way too dirty. There was no UV. There wasn't properly monitored basking temperatures. That's a problem. So they're now in a 20-gallon long tank, which is really nice. There's no gravel, which if you're going to keep turtles, if you want to keep turtles easier, no gravel. Provide them with a really good filter. This is a canister filter. If you do a canister filter or an even clip on the tank filter, if you're going to do no gravel, which is okay, you do have to have live and good bacteria in your water. So you never want your water to be crystal clear. It should have a little tint. It should have bacteria in it. Well, if you have gravel, the good bacteria can live in the gravel, and you don't need to have a filter with bacteria median. I don't like gravel. It's very hard to maintain with turtles because, again, here we go. This is a theme with water, reptiles, amphibians, anything. They eat, they drink, they sleep, they live, they poop, they pee, all in the water. They need the water, but they need the water clean. So the gravel can become hard to maintain. So if you do a nice strong filter that has median to house live bacteria, Then you can keep your bottom with no gravel, which is also nice for the algae eater and not bad for the turtles too, because you don't have to worry about gravel being too small that they'll eat. You don't have to worry about the bottom becoming dirty because it's very easy to clean, especially if you have an algae eater and leftover food falls to the bottom. 9 times out of 10, he'll pick it up. Perfect. And if you have to get in there with a brush to skim the bottom for their waste, super easy to do. So I recommend that. Oh, hi. She's coming to check everything out. So that's my setup. Then I like to do a mercury vapor bulb. It's up here. Like I said, it's turned off right now. Put over their basking spot. And then you use a temp gun so you can temp it out. The ground should be at a high of 85. Right now it's at a high of about 80 because it's been off for about 5 minutes, which is important because that will encourage them to bask in the heat, which when they're basking in the heat, then they're directly under the UV and they're able to pick up UV. But also having the UV light, they don't have to be directly on the basking spot. They still will get UV within the tank when they're just swimming, when they're floating at the top. The UV will penetrate. Mercury vapor bulbs are really good at pushing down heat and pushing down UV. So that's really simple, and I just have it on a simple, I think it's like a Zoom Ed stand. You can see it there underneath the tank. Boom, boom. 2 heaters. One she came with, one I had extra. Their water should be at about 78 degrees. So most of your more simple aquarium heaters, they are self-regulated temp and they're pre-programmed to be at 78. The other one that I put in there, I programmed to 78. You can adjust it up and down, but it's also nice because it has a thermostat on it so you can see the temp. And then this tank had already put on the front, and you see these a lot, those sticker thermometers. But you guys want to make sure you have an actual thermometer, whether it's floating, which will be more accurate, or attached to a heater thermostat. That way you can monitor the temperature. And again, if you're going to do this, you need to temp it out. You need something. Now, with a mercury vapor bulb, it's not great to have it hooked up to a thermostat probe that would turn that bulb on and off, because mercury vapor bulbs, when they turn off, they need to cool down before they turn back on. That's not a good bulb to do that. If you were worried about the heat, you could split it up to a light that produces UV, and then even like a ceramic heat emitter on a thermostat that could be adjusted. Nighttime heat from the light is not needed. It's okay. Just regulate the water as long as your home doesn't really dip below. I've read everywhere and I've seen difference. People will say can go as low as 61, 60 degrees Fahrenheit. I think that's a little on the cool. If your house sits at about 65, mid 60s as the coldest temp overnight, you don't need any type of light heating as long as your water's heated. If for some reason your house dips really cold, you would want to heat this environment with a above heater as well. So okay, cool, simple. So that's a simple setup for your turtles. Now, so that's tackling, in my opinion, the 2 main things that people have with turtles. 1, dirty. Well, not true. Get a good filter. Don't put gravel down. Then it's clean. You'll have to clean your filter depending on how good the filter is, and if you scoop up leftover food once a month, twice a month, depending on how many turtles you have, how big they are. Again, I have the algae eater. He helps me clean up waste. Boom. Hard to maintain? No. Simple setup. Done. Then the last one is, okay, well, what can you do with turtles? Well, I'll show you that is when I show you the problems that they had. So because she just had a bulb that was pushing down heat, turtles as well as tortoises can have problems with their shells. Their shells won't form correctly, and that's what I'll show you. So I'm going to come in the water here, and I'm going to start taking them out. And it's more prevalent on the female. So let's move my camera a bit closer and let's turn her. What can happen, and if we turn her this way, let's see if we can see. Yeah, you can see here, right here, and right up here that and I can feel it. The shell was starting to flake a little bit. That is a key sign of being deprived UV, which is a shame because otherwise she's really good looking. But just those little simple touches of not good UV can cause pyramiding in tortoises, sometimes turtles too, not often, which she doesn't really have. But you can get cracks and you can get flakes. This was caught, and weak shells, and just overall weak shells. This part may or may not chip, but that was a big problem. So I've had them for 2 weeks. They bask all the time because it's dialed in at the correct temp, and they're fine. So she was a yellow-eared slider, and if anyone doesn't know why, it's because if you look on the side of her head, which she has tucked in, it's yellow. Now I can get her to pop her head out because I'll offer her a treat, although she's kind of doing it herself. Come on. Don't be shy for the camera now. Okay, we'll show you. We'll show you later. Just trust me, she's a yellow-eared slider. Female, this is a little bit bigger than the male, who is a red-eared slider, who is going to look almost the same, except if he stuck his head out just a little bit more. There you go. You would see the red by where his ears are. Red-eared slider. Now, if we look at his shell is in a lot worse shape. Flaking up, big divots. You can almost fit your hand under there. Hard points, little micro cracks, but he's young. He's healthy, and again, having UV will be able to correct that. So that's not a problem. So that's what was wrong with them. Some common questions people have that is, okay, which I've had people come over, why is there no air pump in here? Why are we not pumping air? Well, we don't need to because the way the filter's set up is it breaks the water, it stimulates it enough, it causes air bubbles, plenty fine. Okay, fine. Then what do you do with the turtles? Like, what can I do? Why would I want turtles? Well, okay, let's look at this 2 ways. Why do some people want fish tanks? So you can't handle fish. You can't play with fish in a fish tank like you would with a reptile per se. Let's see if I can get my camera set correctly here. But turtles, like fish, not saying that fish are really smart. So if we come and get some treats for these guys, some small little shrimp, they typically will come up. Now, normally, I kind of agitated them a little bit. I shut the heater off. But if I come and show them that I've got a little treat for them, normally they'll come right up and they'll come get it. But neither of them are in a good spot. Let's see here. I'm going to see if I can get their attention. Okay, so I've kind of got her attention now. So if I come in with a treat, I should be able to, get her to come up on land here after the treat. Come on, there we go. Normally it's a little bit more welcoming because the basking light is on. But you can train them out with treats because they have a really good food response with treats, typically dried mealworms or live mealworms, little shrimp, even little fish. They'll go after little feeding minnows, crickets, things like that. So you can train them out. So they'll come out to the dock. So normally when I show up, except for when I got this big camera in here, I'll just pick up the Fluker's little treat bin, and they'll see me pick that up, and they'll both come right up to here. That's in 2 weeks. I pet them, I pick them up. Like I said, I disturbed them a little bit for this video. The other thing, guys, just to hit this real quick, is the thing with turtles and salmonella. Yes, baby turtles can have salmonella. Typically, it's something turtles grow out of, although not always. So it is important, and it's on their shell, it is important that you wash your hands before and after touching your turtles, especially if they're small turtles, especially if finding a turtle in the wild, because again, there's the potential, oh hi, here she's coming over, I don't even have a treat. There's the potential that their shell could have salmonella, and so that holds people away as, oh, turtles are bad, turtles are gross. No, again, it's a thing that turtles normally grow out of, but not always. And then I am going to put this tank, I haven't put much in it because I like to keep it open for them and I wanted to really be able to observe them. I'm going to put a little fake tree in it, I guess big because it's going to come out of the water, just to give them some place to hold on to, much like she is now, where their body can be in the water but their head can be out of the water to breathe. Okay. Because they do that a lot on the dock or there. The last thing, guys, if you have a water test kit, great, because you can test your turtle's water. Now, this Safe Start that I use, this is really good to help reduce ammonia and nitrate and put your turtle in. If you had another type of turtle, maybe you would need pond type filtration. I also put my Stress Coat Plus in here to clean up all the metals and the chlorine and everything that could come out of the tap, because I filled it with tap water. But then I, use my water test kit to make sure my pHs are correct, to make sure the live bacteria. That's not hard, guys. This is cheap. This big bottle that can treat a 100-gallon tank, and you can use when you clean the filter, was like $4 on sale on Amazon. So sometimes I'll read, oh, turtle startup cost is too high. Shouldn't be. Get a used tank. You don't need a lid. Go on Craigslist, go on wherever and buy. There's tons of people getting rid of old 20, 30, 40, 50-gallon tanks that hold water. Even sometimes if the silicone is going bad, whoop, one little bead of silicone down, pushed in, re-water tight. Awesome. Done. Buy a dock or make a dock. Doesn't matter. Secure the dock to the side. That's it. You're just going to spend your money, get a good filter. That's it. The turtles themselves are cheap, and this is why I think they need rescuing, because you can go to your local pet store, PetSmart, Petco, whatever. They'll have red-eared sliders. I've seen them on sale for $10, and people will buy a little starter tank for them and throw some gravel in there and have that little cheap filter, and they're gonna be like, wow, this is an awesome pet on day one. And then a week in, the tank is dirty, and then they got to clean the tank all the time because they have a crappy filter that gets clogged or doesn't move enough water. And then the turtle gets big, and then it's like, holy crap, now I have to actually buy a tank that's big, and they're expensive because they're not looking at used tanks. Turtles, great pets, great personalities, a lot of fun, very friendly, very trainable, and easy to do and easy to maintain, to be honest. So, although I say they're not for everyone, every pet's not for everyone, but especially one that is in the water, because, yeah, they are not like a Savannah monitor that I'll let roam the backyard with me when I'm doing yard work. I wouldn't bring them out. Okay, guys, hope this helped. Take care. Let me turn the UV light on for any skeptics who think I don't provide my reptiles with UV. So we turn that on. Let me move that one light out of the way. So it's a mercury vapor bulb. So it starts up like all mercury vapor bulbs. There's no hue yet because this thing's going to really heat up, and then it would turn the whole video green as soon as the UV starts pounding down. But the nice thing is, man, they get hot really quick. That feels real good. Okay, guys, take care.